You know those long lists of names in ancient texts? The ones we all kind of skim through? Well, what if one of the most famous genealogies in the Bible, the one from Adam to Noah, wasn't just a list at all? What if it was actually a carefully encoded message, a prophecy hidden in plain sight?
Yeah, you heard that right. The theory goes that the original Hebrew meanings of these 10 names, when you read them in order, actually form a single coherent sentence. And it's a sentence that tells an absolutely stunning story. So let's go on this little adventure and see what this ancient list might be trying to tell us. So here they are, the 10 patriarchs, from Adam all the way down to Noah. Now, on the surface, this just looks like a family tree, right? But the idea we're exploring today says, nope, this is actually a prophetic roadmap. Each name is a word, and with each generation, another piece of the puzzle clicks into place. Let's walk through them name by name and watch this story unfold. Okay, so this whole message apparently starts by painting a pretty stark picture of the human condition. The first 4 names in this lineage seem to tell the story of humanity right after the fall from grace in the Garden of Eden. It all starts, of course, with Adam. And, fittingly, his name in Hebrew, Adam, is literally the root word for man or humanity. So he represents all of us. Our hidden message begins with the word man. Next up is Seth. You might remember the tragic story of his brother Abel. Well, the Bible says Eve saw Seth as being appointed by God to take Abel's place. So his name signifies that even in the face of human tragedy, a divine plan is still moving forward. And just like that, our message now reads, man is appointed. With Seth's son, Enosh, you can feel the tones start to shift. His name means mortal or fragile, and this really speaks to that moment when humanity started to truly get a sense of its own weakness, its own limitations. The message is building. Man is appointed mortal. And that fragility leads us straight to Kenan. Now, his name can be related to the idea of possession, but in the flow of this specific message, the interpretation leans towards sorrow or lament. It kind of paints this picture of a generation feeling that deep ache of being exiled from paradise. So let's put those first 4 names together. We've got Adam, Seth, Enosh, and Kenan. Man is appointed, mortal, sorrow. Wow, that's a pretty heavy start, right? It really captures the feeling of a world grappling with the consequences of its choices. But hang on, is that it? Is this just a story about doom and gloom? Absolutely not. Because right here, at what seems like the lowest point, the entire narrative just pivots in a huge way. This next batch of names is where things get really interesting. The focus shifts completely from our condition to a divine promise. It's like the sun is about to break through the clouds. And the big turning point, that first ray of light, is this name, Mahalalel. It means the blessed God. And this is huge because it's the very first time in this entire lineage that the actual name for God, El, is right there in a person's name. The story is no longer just about us. God is stepping directly into the picture. And right after the blessed God, you get Jared. His name comes from a Hebrew root that literally means to come down or shall descend. Think about that. It's not just a description, it's an action, a promise. So now the message is, the blessed God shall descend. Okay, and then we get to Enoch, and this guy is a total game changer. For every single other person on this list, the story ends the exact same way. And he died. It's this grim, repeating line. But not Enoch. The text says he walked with God, and then, poof, God took him. He's the one who breaks the cycle of death. And get this, his name means teaching. It's as if he's teaching a new way, showing what a relationship with this descending God can actually look like. But we're not done yet. The final names before we get to the end, well, they bring this incredible sense of urgency, a warning. It's almost like a countdown clock has just been started. Right, Methuselah. We've all heard the name, probably as the answer to a trivia question about who lived the longest, 969 years. But what if that ridiculously long life wasn't just a random fact? What if it was actually a prophetic clock, ticking away toward a massive event? Because here's the crucial part. His name, Methuselah, is believed to mean something incredibly ominous. His death shall bring. Just let that sink in. His entire long life is tied to something that's going to happen the very moment he's gone. But bring what? And this is the mind-blowing connection. If you do the math and check the biblical timeline, the year Methuselah died was the exact same year the Great Flood began. It's unbelievable. His 969-year life was basically God's patience on display, a long, long warning. His name was a literal prophecy. His death shall bring the flood. So, can you imagine the state of the world at that point, after this nearly 1,000-year warning? That brings us to Methuselah's son, Lamech. His name is often translated as despairing or lamenting, and it just perfectly captures the feeling of that generation, a world that's run out of time, sitting on the very brink of judgment. All right, we've got all the puzzle pieces laid out. We've seen the story of humanity's fall, we've seen the promise of God coming down, and we've seen the warning of judgment. So, how does it all end? What's the final word?
The final name in the sequence, the resolution to Lamech's despair, is Noah. And it's just perfect. When Noah was born, his father actually prophesied that this child would bring comfort and rest. And that's exactly what his name means, rest. He is the answer. Okay, let's do a rapid-fire recap. You ready? Adam is man, Seth is appointed, Enosh is mortal, Canaan is sorrow, but then Mahalalel is the blessed God. Jared shall descend, Enoch, teaching, Methuselah, his death shall bring, Lamech, the despairing, and finally Noah, rest and comfort.
And when you put all of that, all 10 of those names, in order, you get this complete, incredible sentence. Man is appointed mortal sorrow, but the blessed God shall descend, teaching that his death shall bring the despairing rest and comfort. I mean, wow, that's a full-blown gospel message seemingly tucked away in a list of names written centuries before the events it talks about.
So what do we make of all this? Look, whether you see this as a divinely inspired code or just an incredible literary coincidence, you can't deny that it tells a powerful, coherent story of redemption. It suggests there are these amazing layers of meaning hiding just beneath the surface of texts we thought were, well, frankly, kind of dry.
And that's the really cool part, isn't it? It just makes you wonder, if a message this profound could be hiding in a simple genealogy, what other secrets, what other stories might be tucked away in ancient texts, just waiting for a curious mind to find them?